Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the iRacing Today radio show for December the 19th, 2014. I am your host, Trevor Cameron. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a happy holiday season, early preparatory time. And thank you for joining us all here this evening. I'm Trevor, as I mentioned, and of course, that strange person who refuses to look at the camera over there, that's Chad. Hey, Chad, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Chad's changed everything to do with what he does, and I don't like it.
What?
See, I'm joking. I'm choked up over it, man.
You're just mad because you don't have this cool of a camera shot.
No, I'm just mad because you won't look at me. And then when you do look at me, it's really creepy. So, see? There. Right there. Like, that should be your splash page for your stream so people know what they're getting into. Just kind of this, you know, I'm looking up at you because you're hanging off the ceiling because you're some sort of weird creature. I don't know what's happening. Maybe we'll just do the show with your foot cam, like the entire thing. You can just kind of emote through your feet the entire time.
We can do that.
Yeah. Well, okay, no, don't change any cameras. It took me like 15 minutes to get all the angles right, and our heads are finally the same size. Don't mess with it, man.
Nah, I won't.
I mean, I have a complete head. You have most of your head, more than normal, so that's good. Yeah.
See, on the stream, it looks a lot better than it does on Skype.
Oh, I see.
See, on Skype, there's a lot more going on. I mean, like, you can see my steering wheel, you can see my keyboard. On the stream, it's just me, just hanging out.
Yeah, well, that's all we need, man. I mean, you can't see my wheel. I mean, mine's down right. Like, if I was, no, see, yeah, it's actually a fair bit down. Okay, never mind. You're like, keep going. Oh, yeah. There's a wheel there. I do occasionally use it. I swear. There is a wheel.
Really?
I do. Actually, yeah, normally we could actually see yours in the old camera angle. Now it's just your... Wow, yeah. Yeah, okay. You're in a new world now.
Yeah, I'm in a whole new world. It's like a new me, man.
A whole new world.
Please don't ever sing. Please, no.
Of you.
So on tonight's show.
No one to tell us no where to go and say it's only dreaming.
We will be having our In the News segment.
This is the 80th episode of the iRacing Today radio show, so I think we qualify for senior discounts, although I guess we've done that for quite some time now. It's December the 19th, a day late, but, you know, preparations and things and whatnot, but hey, you know, last show of the year, season finale. So that's the thing. I mean, we have like one season, like the entire year. It's really not a good way to do it. There's not enough breaks in there, but you know, well, we'll probably have a break next July because I'm going to be like on a family vacation. But anyway, so I'm announcing it now. We're going to take a week break in July. But anyway, thanks everybody for
it'll be our midsummer season finale.
Our midsummer classic, yeah.
Yeah, way to not steal that from anybody.
So tonight we're going to talk a little bit of news for you, and we're going to discuss streaming. It's a little bit of a different show here. I mean, I don't know. We're just going to do a little bit of a discussion on streaming races and the different ways that people enjoy it, and you know, maybe get each other's opinions on how things happen. And as mentioned, kind of teased, Chad's changed a bunch of stuff with what's going on there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, so you make sure you guys don't miss out on everything that Chad's doing with all his racing and whatnot. And in the news here, on the show notes, it says something about we're going to mention the funny Twitter story. And I say that the quicker we forget about whatever it was that happened there, I think the better, because that was... I was confused, and I was part of it. I
was laughing.
I mean, there was people having fun. I was like the one guy at the back of the boat trying to bail out all the water while everybody else was just trying to pile it in as I'm trying to do damage control. We hired an imaginary PR. Things happen, man. So we're going to kind of give you guys, in case you missed it, what went on there. So that is our agenda for this evening's show, and we are moving to the In the News segment, which is, of course, presented by iRacerStuff.com. At least I assume it is. Still says so. So let's go with the assumption that it is. Which is, of course, a website.
Breaking news: we are no longer sponsored by.
Yeah, first news item. And of course, they are a website which is dedicated to the iRacing motorsport simulation. They post things that they find interesting or that may be useful to the iRacing community. You can check them out today, of course, over at iRacerStuff.com, because being called iRacerStuff.com and having a different URL would be dumb. I guess nowadays you can have like URLs with dot anything, so I guess they could be iRacer.stuff. Like I'm sure .stuff is a thing. I mean that's not confusing. You know, we could be iRacing Today Radio. No, iRacing Today .radio. We could change. We could do that now. You know, that'd be exciting.
Well, first item on the agenda.
The agenda.
Which we have mentioned already before, but this is the last time we're ever going to say this.
True story.
It's so sad, kind of. But now until the end of the year, which right now it's the 19th of December, so you only have until the 31st, which is only like a week and a half away.
Which is frightening because, like, it is less than a week before Christmas. I haven't finished all my shopping yet.
You should get on that.
I'm scared.
You're scared?
Yeah, because that means I have to go do some more shopping.
But anyways, speaking of shopping, you should buy a membership. Oh, that was a great segue.
I already
Thanks
have
for setting
one.
me up. But now, between now and December 31st, as I said, is a great time to join the iRacing software and come race with us, because we like it when that happens. But all new memberships right now until that day are at half price. So you can sign up at iRacing.com/membership, and all the info that you need to know is on that webpage.
Yeah, so they're like half off, which is only half on. So, you know, get up on that junk.
Weird.
Yeah, sure. Speaking of Christmas and things that are good to give, which would not help me out in this situation because the shopping I need to do is
No.
is I need to finish shopping for my wife, which I'm pretty sure she would not appreciate, but many people would, an iRacing gift card, because that makes the perfect Christmas gift, except for my wife, because she doesn't want one of it. Grab one up for a friend to get them started racing. Thank you for that. And be sure to let your family and friends know iRacing is what you want for Christmas. So, you know, but my wife's already finished Christmas shopping, so it's too late for that. iRacing gift cards can be used to create new memberships, renew an existing membership, or purchase cars or tracks, technically licensed, or host your own races. So, you know, basically, hey, if you're an iRacer, it's a good little stocking stuffer. You know, get somebody that you love and get them to give you a card and say, you know what, here's a code. I mean, you know, they'll just get some fancy paper, write down the code legibly. You know, make sure that, you know which ones are L's and which ones are I's. I mean, because that's kind of important, you know. And, you know, stuff it in the old stocking and say, hey, you go buy it. You go license yourself a new car. You know, you get the, you know, I know you already have the Ford and you have the Chevy, but get the Toyota too, because that'll make Chad happy. Although, I mean, as we were looking at the pictures, I mean, the Toyota that we have in the sim, it looks good. But it doesn't look as good as the Toyota that's going to be on the track next season. So, you know, hopefully they'll be able to update that, you know, because it looks meaner and nicer. And
racy.
It does look racy.
And as I said before we went on the air, it looks racy. And the old one that we currently have on the sim looks like a family outing.
Well, it's based on the street car, so that makes sense.
Yeah. But, and the new street car, in case you haven't seen it, does look very similar to what the race car looks like now. So,
does it? Ooh, maybe I need to buy me a Camry for my next car. Heck with that,
I mean, not
Lexus.
like identical, but it looks similar. And it does look really, 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 really nice. I have seen it in person, and I'm in love.
I see. So I'm just going to get rid of the Lexus, get rid of the Sunfire. I still have it. Anybody want to buy a Sunfire? I mean, it runs. It needs new brakes soon. It needs new tires. They're getting pretty bad, and there's a big hole in the side of the muffler. But other than that, it's an okay car.
It's in great condition.
Well, if you're a fixer-upper kind of guy.
3,500. Take it or leave it.
Well, I was hoping to get rid of it for about $1,000. I figure a car that runs is at least worth $1,000. So
Yeah.
if you want it, contact me and come get it, because I don't deliver my car because it won't drive that far. No. Wait,
It won't even go downtown.
I've said too much. But yes, it is it's the car that died. But we've since figured out why it died. But I already bought a new car. My new car is much nicer, so I didn't go back to the old car. So, although that would have been bad, because it was the guy. I mentioned him on the show all the time, Vern, who it's his Lexus I bought. He's also the one who fixed the Sunfire. So I bought his Lexus, then he fixed the Sunfire so we could try to sell it. So it would be a pretty jerky move if I said, hey, take your Lexus back and give me back my Sunfire. Thanks for fixing it. I guess now you have to sell your car again. That'd be a pretty jerky best friend move. So, but anyway.
Yes, it would be.
It would be. But as mentioned at the top of the hour, I'm assuming that we're a radio program that starts on a designated time. This is our last show of 2014, or maybe forever. No, just for 2014. Want to thank everybody out there for continuing to listen and giving us feedback and interacting with us and hanging out and doing all the fun things you guys do, because if that wasn't happening, we'd probably stop this, to be honest with you. If nobody was emailing us, nobody was hanging out on Twitter, nobody was coming to see the live shows, nobody was telling us anything, yeah, we'd probably just stop, because we do it for you guys. And if nobody's listening, then, well, I could not talk into a microphone. Well, that's probably not true. I need to be talking to a microphone at some point in time, somehow, somewhere. But just not this microphone. No, it'd still be this microphone. It's a very nice microphone. Okay, just not in this particular format, I guess. So. But thanks everybody out there. We really, really do appreciate it. I know we joke and we talk and stuff, but it is very, very much appreciated that you guys hang it with us and make this fun for us to do. We'll be back on January the 8th, 2015. So a 2-week hiatus here, just a short little one for us to have some time with our family. And, could we do some shows during there? Probably, but you know what? It's not worth the hassle of trying to arrange, oh, wait, okay, now I'm down at my parents' place and Chad's over here. It's just not worth it, man. Not that you guys aren't worth, hassle. I've talked myself into a hole here, Chad. Bail me out any time now.
No, I'm just waiting for you to bail yourself out. Just going to let you do this one.
Yeah,
You're on your own, kid.
Plus, we need a break, man. We just need a break. But, of course, during that period of time, look out for any streams that we might put up because, and any racing that we might do during that period of time. Just because we're not doing the show does not mean we're not going to be on our computers and active and doing all the fun stuff that we do. I know Chad will probably be streaming a couple races. I tried to get some races in this past week here, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And it's Steam sale time, so I'm going to have a bunch of new games that I don't need and don't really have the money for, but hey, it's 75% off, so I'm going to buy them anyway because I'm dumb like that. I know Roby out there, we mentioned him on the show, friend of the show, he can he can relate to me on that one. So anyway, we'll have some streams and stuff, so look out for those and whatnot, and join us out on the track if you see us.
And don't wreck us.
Yeah, well, So, Mr. Chad, okay, fine. Now that you've waved the checkered flag, which I'm assuming means shut up. That's all I gathered out of it. Like I'm here, sitting here,
Cool. Man,
stewing with
80
rage.
shows.
I'm stewing with rage because you were trying to wave me down, saying, you know what? Hey,
80 shows, and I finally figured out what shuts Trevor up. Man, that's great. But yes, we do. I, again, second what Trevor said. do appreciate all you guys listening. It's a blast to do the show. Now something else that was a blast. The iRacing Pro Race of Champions was the other day.
Was it?
Now the person that had the most fun was Timmy Hill because he pretty much did everything but not lead all the laps. So he dominated, and I think he led. Let's see, I think it was a 50 lap race. Pretty sure he took the lead, like maybe even on like lap one. I mean, it was like very early in the race. I don't remember if he led all the laps or if he led almost all the laps, but he pretty much ran away with it. I mean, he had a very large commanding lead throughout most of the race. There were a few crashes, and a couple of them were rather large. There was one car, it was kind of funny. And I know the announcers, like sometimes, and for those of you that watch broadcasts, Trevor and I have been involved with broadcasts before, so we kind of know the behind the scenes, so to speak. When you have broadcasters, they don't necessarily see, and I would even almost say like 100% of the time, they don't see what you guys are seeing all the time.
Right.
The guy in the production truck is telling them, or she is telling them, right now I'm zoomed in on the 19 car or something. And then they might start talking about them, but they're not necessarily seeing exactly what you guys see. So sometimes I watch a broadcast and there's like this massive pile up and the announcers don't talk about it and everybody in the chat's kind of like, wow, there was a huge crash. How did they miss that? Well, it's because they weren't focused on it, like the camera that you're watching is focused on. And so that's just a little behind the scenes thing in case you didn't know. Next time you're watching a stream. Well, in this particular stream, a big crash happened. Now, I don't mean just like somebody spun and hit the wall and somebody else spun and hit the wall. I mean like 5, 6 cars crashed. One of them was barrel rolling unbelievably down the back straightaway.
Do a barrel
And
roll.
yeah, and what made it funny is that it was showing up on the screen and the announcers like never said a word about it. And like the race was at Iowa, so it's not that big of a racetrack. But that moment went through my head where I was like, how do these people not see this? And I was like, oh, that's right.
It's like, wait, there's a car barrel rolling down the front stretch, and they're talking about hot dogs.
I know. What's going on here? Can't you see that? But yeah, so that was kind of a funny moment in the race. But anyways, it was the 4th annual iRacing Pro Race of Champions. And of course, it was at Iowa. In the super late model, it was a 50 lap race. And Philip Ing, I guess is how you say his last name, won the pole. And they did the classic go off into turn 1 and hit the apron, get sort of out of control, and go straight up into the outside fence. When I watched the whole race, but when I was watching this part of it, he just suddenly went to the right. It almost looked like he blew a right front tire and just went dead on, dead to the right and went in the fence. And I was like, what the heck is he doing? And then they kind of showed a replay in the corner, and I saw he hit the apron. And then, probably tried to overcorrect it, and that kind of upset the car more. And that was kind of the end of his night. And then that's where Mr. Timmy Hill took over. And like I said, he dominated the race. I mean, he really did. He won the race by over 14 seconds over Alex Gurney. And then Michael Self, who's a K&N Pro Series driver, finished in 3rd.
Alex Gurney.
So, please tell me you know who that is.
I know, but like the name, but I don't remember why. Please remind me.
He's an IMSA champion.
Immaculate Motherhoods of...
Google it. I'll just keep talking. But he is a good driver, Alex Gurney is. And he's a road course driver, primarily. So it was pretty cool to see Alex racing, on the oval side and really doing a great job. Had a very solid drive. And it's kind of interesting. The thing that gets me about these races is even though they're all pro drivers, they kind of take this unseriously to a certain degree but then at the same time, they kind of take it seriously because, iRacing puts it together and they try to make it into this really neat event, and the drivers understand that. But it was, I guess it was, it's neat on one hand to see so many drivers who do this in real life. I mean, like Ron Capps is a drag racer and, doesn't race, in ovals or road courses. He just goes in a straight line drag racing. But it's cool to see him get on there and participate, in a late model at Iowa. Not so much because, he that's not what he does normally, and it's neat to see him do it. It's more because he's a professional race car driver who, uses iRacing a lot
Right.
for his own entertainment. Some of the drivers use it to get Betty or, get Betty. There we go.
Get better, boy.
Get Betty. Get better. Not so much with their skills, but just, with the comfort level, the knowledge of the track or whatever. So to me, it's kind of neat to see all these guys go out there and participate in a race and, using iRacing. I mean, it's pretty cool in my opinion. So I think it's a neat event.
Most definitely. But you don't have to shut yourself up.
Yes, I do.
So we speculated about it. There was no road race, was there?
No, there wasn't, and I'm not really sure why. I didn't really watch all of the road race last year, but I'm wondering because I think it was kind of I don't want to say like a blowout, but I don't know if there was like a ton of action in the road race last year. And then again, I didn't watch it all, but I wonder if maybe they just felt like it kind of turned away stuff, people, and kind of turned away drivers from wanting to race. I don't know. But the oval race last year had a fabulous finish. Ryan Truex won, and I forget who he beat. But I mean, those two guys, it reminded me of, some of the best finishes in NASCAR where, the guys are like really close, at the line, and that guy only beats him by a bumper, kind of thing. So that was really neat last year. This year, obviously, it was dominated by Timmy Hill. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't do a road race. That was quite surprising.
Ryan Truex, what, the guy who goes out, does 3 laps, and blows up, and
Yeah.
says, "Brother, why are you so much better than me?" I'm sorry, that's mean.
But yeah, I think there were a lot of wrecks last year in the road race because I remember the first lap, like half the field crashed. So I think that might be part of the reason why. Which is kind of a shame because it's kind of neat to see, the real oval guys race a roads, course where they don't normally go, and then vice versa. The real road guys race an oval. It's kind of neat to see because some of them take it seriously. They're really trying to prove that they can do it. And then the other ones are just like, oh, I'm terrible, wall, crash,
Is this the conversation they're having? I'm terrible.
Yes.
Wall
Well,
crash.
Well, but like Alex Gurney, road course driver, finished second in an oval. I mean, yeah, I'm sure he was trying to prove, hey, I can do this. It might be a virtual situation, but I can do it.
I'm never going to get the picture of,
Oh,
wall crash.
your next stream, when you crash, that's what you're going to do.
Wall crash. That's going to be the tagline for the show. The iRacing Today radio show. Wall crash.
Hashtag, wall crash.
Hashtag wall crash. Oh. So, that's, like you said, I mean, we've talked about that stuff in the past, but like you said, it's just one of those cool things that brings, the virtual and the real together in a very interesting and cool way. So, but speaking of things that are interesting and cool, here's something that's not really that interesting and cool, but hey, it happened. We had a couple of patches come out since our last show. While they do have the big build at the end of the season, during the season, if they have any little tweaks and bug fixes and stuff, they'll just roll out mini builds basically throughout the season. So there was apparently some weird ones in there, like the December 15th patch it's one of those bugs where it's like, how did anybody see these things? Because apparently there was a bug where someone could hit car reset and garage in sequence very quickly, which would then dump them into the garage screen while the car is being put out onto the track, and the interface would get stuck. Now the situation will bail out of the garage screen through to being in car. That's not a real sentence.
Yes, it is.
Not the way I said it. They also fixed that, or at least did part of the fix for that radio bug we mentioned during the season notes, where you could forget how to drive your car if you started tuning the radio. Let's see, what else is in there?
This is one of my favorite. I have two favorite ones
Okay.
actually, so I'm just going to go ahead and get them out of the way. The first one is the Holden Commodore, which has a fixed issue where the anti-roll bars could become mathematically unstable.
Oh no, they divided it by 0. No. And the car just sucks into this black hole.
And then my second favorite, this is the second straight week where we've had to fix New Hampshire. Fixed the bug where loading a road course would crash the sim. I get a kick out of that every time. It's like, oh, you want to ride a road course? Oh, yeah? Well, watch this. Crash.
It's like, nope, you want to race at New Hampshire? No, sir.
Nope.
You're going to race the oval or nothing at all.
And you can't hit those cones. FYI, new baseline setup for the Ford GT3.
Ah, I see.
Newsflash, no, not really.
It's not just in it all.
This just in like 5 days ago.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was just some fixes and updated setups. But I like the new pit guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, fixed a bug where the very initial animation of the pit guy as he first enters the world had a floating pole. Maybe it's a sailor in me, but but that just sounds like I can't comment on that, but poor guy.
His pole.
And it's floating. Although, as a side note to that, I did actually, like, I can't believe I didn't notice. Like I said, I did actually take out after the build and went out and spa and did some testing after the last build, but I didn't notice the lollipop guy, the new pit guy. And then when I went on the other a couple nights ago, obviously it was in my mind. How did I not notice that guy? Like, holy crap, does he look different?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was very disappointed in you. I actually, I was very secretively surprised. I was like, yeah, I didn't know we got a new lollipop, man. Like, what? What?
It's one of those things. Here's some life advice for you people. If we have
Don't
any,
notice new lollipop guys.
if we have any female listeners, here's the thing.
Which we do.
Here's the way that men work. If men are out and they're looking for something in particular, that is the only thing that they will see. If they are told to go into the cupboard and pick out the jar of pickles and there is an elephant running around inside that cupboard, they will not see the elephant unless they can see the pickles first. If you tell them to go get the pickles that are in a blue jar and they go there and there are pickles in a green jar, it is invisible to us. We do not see it. So therefore, I jumped into Spa to see the night lighting, and that's all I saw. That's how our brains work.
Ooh, shiny.
We only see the thing we are looking for. If it is not exactly what we have vision in our head, then it does not exist.
The second one that you mentioned there, I've done a lot, where somebody says it's green or it's blue, and then I'm like looking for that color, and
Yep.
it ends up being something totally different. And they're like, "No, it's right there,
It's
you
right
dummy."
there
I'm
in front of your
"Well,
face."
I wasn't looking for that color.
Yep. So there you go. There's some life advice. That's how men's brain work.
Good. We can end the show now.
So for the
Have a good
women,
guys.
that's you can understand it, and for the men, if you didn't know that, now you know it. What's been going wrong your entire life and why you can't find anything. And
Now you
everybody
know
gets
why
mad
you're
at you for not being able to find anything.
But yes,
So,
now on Wednesday, we had another small update, which was more of a updating some setups for a couple of the oval cars, and then another Holden Commodore V8 update, which is just great again. Fixed bug where windshield dirt was not displaying properly.
so how was it being displayed?
That's what I would like to know. I mean, I wished I had driven the car. See, this bugs me. And we talked about this last week
Yep.
or whatever week it was, where all these people find all these really cool bugs that would be annoying in a serious situation, but they're like the coolest bugs ever, and it's like we find out about them after they've been removed. Like exploding walls at Sonoma. How cool would that have been?
I'll never
to just,
forgive you for that,
I know,
iRacing.
just drive into the wall and be like. But anyways, you got any other ones that you liked in this particular update?
It was a couple. There was two in here that caught my eye. It's weird. We always pick out the ones that are funny. Not, hey, here's something that really helps the sim. Here's something that's going
Yeah.
to improve your life and experiences. No, no, no. Instead, we pick out the fact that they fixed the bug that could cause a tow to be initiated while swapping drivers during a pit stop. And all I picture is you're sitting there in your team, you pull into the pit stop, you jump out of the car, the other guy's about to jump into the car, a tow truck pulls up, grabs the car, and pulls it away while you're trying to climb through the windshield or the side window.
Hey, come back! Wait, we need that.
We weren't done with that.
Parks behind the wall, change it down. You can't get it back. Drives away.
That boot thing on the tire so you can't drive it away.
puts the boot thing on the tire.
Sorry,
Drives back down pit road and picks up another car.
I found it was abandoned on pit road. I had to get rid of it, man.
We can't have cars without drivers just sitting there on pit road. But they were switching drivers. No, that's no excuse, man. Nobody was in the car at the time that I was there.
At the time I hooked
Voted-
up, there was nobody in that car.
Oh man.
And this just because it made me giggle. The Toyota, the F1 car, fixed a bug where fueling had too much variance in flow rate. So, if you experience too many differences in your flow rate, see a doctor.
Common side effects include. Okay, great story time.
Oh, okay.
Trevor has just frozen on my screen.
I have.
And the way that he is frozen
Oh, goodness.
is priceless. So much that, in fact, I'm going to take a photo.
Should I be looking at Twitter?
Probably yes. It's great. Okay, now continue on with the show.
Indeed. I'll wait. Just hurry up and tweet it so I can see how goofy I look because I'm a very animated person.
Okay, well, keep talking while I check. Oh, and you just unfroze, so I'm glad that I took the picture.
Oh, and apparently you're just in time. As I say, you were fine, man.
Yeah.
The stream hasn't dropped a single frame. I mean, everything seems to be going good, although apparently Andy can't see the stream. It's weird because Andy jumps in, gets to watch us live, and apparently the stream is horrible for him. And I like to say that's good on you, Andy. Good on you.
Okay,
So,
that completes the in the news segment.
yes, and keeping in mind, one little side note on that is the fact that those patches were the 15th and the 18th, so you never know when these little patches are going to come out, so if you want to jump in and do a quick race, always kind of give yourself a couple minutes, because you never know when you're going to jump in and it's going to go, updates required. Actually, that happened to me. I downloaded the 18th one last night, on the 18th. I jumped in to do a little bit of racing, and it's like, oh, I'm going to jump in and do some stuff there, and I was actually looking for the race button, and it wasn't there. It's like, oh, wait, there's an update. So good thing I wasn't just, jumping in at the last minute into a race, because, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
made it.
Sorry, I'm just dying over here.
Oh, okay, well, good luck with that.
Carry on. Yes, but.
That is the
so,
end of the news.
This has been your news for 2014.
Well, the last bit of news for 2014, I guess. So, moving into our discussion on streaming. You decided to change everything because you like confusing people. So,
Yeah.
how's that working out for you?
I like to be confusing.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay, so as everybody knows, well, most everybody would know, I assume. Um, I've been streaming, excuse me, under White Knight Productions, which is the name that I just kind of created off the top of my head. Just because I remember those knights with the shining armor and the sword and stuff. That's my
I'm pretty sure that
sword.
they make that noise while they're actually fighting.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
do.
method of
It's in the
intimidation.
movies. It's in the movies. Um, so yeah, I just created White Knight. Well, a few people questioned, why I had that name, and I won't go into details why. It was nothing really bad. They just asked. So it kind of made me think, I don't want to be associated with that, um, and therefore decided that I want to change my name. Now I've also been talking to another guy who does a lot of streaming, and most of you guys are probably going to know him as Will Damage,
Hmm.
but his real name is Mark, and he uh, he and I just were kind of talking about streaming in general. And one of the things that he said that I had started thinking about before I actually talked to him, but then he kind of confirmed it. And, the way that he explained it, it made a lot of sense. He was talking about how he thinks that it's great in the world of streaming to have everything as the same name. And what he means by that is to have your Twitch the same name as your YouTube, and then both of those the same name as your Twitter, your Facebook, and yada, yada, yada.
Hmm.
Because then it creates this easy to remember environment for
Branding.
people that, yeah, that come into your stream. And like Trevor just said, branding. And so I had already kind of thought about that. And then when, he kind of confirmed what I was thinking. It in my mind between the name that I had and what he was talking about, and the fact that my nickname, since I can remember, has been Cadillac, that one of my friends just randomly gave to me. We were on the basketball court. I made a shot. He had passed me the ball. We were running back down the floor, and just at random, he said, "Nice shot, Cadillac." I looked at him like, dude, that's a really cool name. And he looked back at me as if like he couldn't even believe he said it, and he was like, that is a cool name. And it's been that way ever since.
I can't believe I just said that.
Oh my gosh, my mom's gonna be so mad at me. So, I got to thinking that if I used Cadillac for my streaming name, that it would fit me so much better, and it's my nickname. So I am changing all my streaming stuff, and already have, to Itch Cadillac, which is my Twitter, in case you're not aware. And so I've already created a Twitch channel, but I haven't done anything with it yet. But and I've changed up my YouTube channel to reflect the change. Now I still left my previous videos that I'd made up there. At first, I was gonna take them down, but then I was like, nah, I'll just leave them because there's some good races in there, and I've already established them there. But a part of me just wanted to completely recreate a new YouTube channel and just start all over. But then I just decided, yeah, throw all the old videos on their own little playlist and just kind of, you know, have them off to the side, but yet they're still there. And then just kind of make the main focus all the new videos that I do. So I just decided to change my name so that A, it's all the same and the branding, behind it.
Hmm.
But B, I think it just fits me better. Um, so yeah, it's Cadillac is now my streaming name. So on YouTube, that's where you're gonna find me. And if you go to Twitch, it's twitch.tv/it's Cadillac.
I see. See, and that's why I kind of had the thing with the rat face. That's why, because that's how everything associated with me is associated with that nickname. You know, all my gamer tags, all my, everything that I've done in an online capacity has always been related to that, which is why I kept it instead of. And I didn't want to make my YouTube name, the iRacing Today, which is, obviously where my Twitter, because, well, I'm gonna be streaming stuff other than racing, so it just didn't seem appropriate, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you have so it's a separate channel, so you can just change the name of your stuff to allow it to be
Well,
found with the new name.
on YouTube you can. So on YouTube, nothing changed except I just changed the name, and the graphics will appear different. But YouTube really friendly with that. Twitch,
Not so
they do
much.
not allow you to change your name at all. And I that was pretty upsetting. So basically, what I'm gonna do until everybody kind of gets the memo is I'm just gonna set, and I've already done it. I'm just gonna have the White Knight channel hosting It's Cadillac, and then I might mention for the first few streams, I'm no longer there. I'm gonna be deleting it in a month, or whatever. So yeah, I mean, but just to kind of give everybody the appropriate amount of time to come follow me over there.
I see.
If you still want to follow me. If you don't want to follow me,
Well, fine. Part ways in a nice,
get out.
friendly environment. I would like to mention two things at this point in time that are side notes. What, are you getting the flag ready?
No.
I see it in the corner of my eye there. It's like, oh, great, here we go. Two things. One, that picture is not that funny. I just look like a happy person.
Yes, it is. It was hilarious.
It was not hilarious. I'm just sort of like, look, I'm smiling and I'm happy. How is that funny? Two, I have no idea who Alex Gurney, the race car driver, is. As it turns out, it is popped into my head back when I was in the Navy. In case that hasn't been, I'm pretty sure that's been established. I used to be in the Canadian Navy. There was a person who I actually sailed with who was the same trade as me, whose name was Alex Gurney. That's why the name popped into my head. Wait, it's like I know that person, and it's not that person. So
No,
I
it's
I,
most
I knew
definitely
a
not.
different Alex Gurney who I sailed with in the Navy.
Okay.
Anyway, now that that's been established.
We may carry on with the show.
Yes.
But yes, so there's been the reason why we're going to talk about streaming tonight is there has been a lot of streaming stuff going on in my brain this week. And the thing that Trevor was kind of insinuating earlier is that I've talked about how I changed my name. Well, I've also changed the way that my stream appears. And I kind of do this with my brain. My brain is kind of creative, but it only depends on the day, I guess. I don't really know how to explain this, but basically, the way that my mind works is I'll sit down and I'll say, okay, I need to create a bunch of graphics for a graphic design job, and I'll sit there and I'll kind of have some thoughts go through my mind, and some some are good ideas, some are not so good ideas, and I'll sit there and kind of sometimes I draw them out just to look at them. Sometimes I'll just picture them in my mind. Um, but basically, this week, I sat down and I started thinking, how could I change up my stream to where it looked a little bit nicer, but not cluttered, because I don't like a cluttered stream. There are some streams that I've watched, and some of them are even of popular YouTube accounts that are, well, not even necessarily YouTube, but just popular streaming accounts, and they just look cluttered. They've got stuff everywhere, and it's
Oh, I
like
know. I mean, like you go on some of them, man. It's like,
yeah,
it's like, a picture here and a banner here and a click here to subscribe here. And it's like, and and all the actions happen in this little tiny window in the middle.
little box. Yeah, and that bugs me because it's like we're here, the viewers are there to watch the, in iRacing's case, the racing. We're not here to watch the standings box, the F3 box, the mirror, this box, that box, this box. They're not there for that. I mean, yeah, it's great to have that stuff over there, but you're there to watch the racing. And so in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I want to have some of these things on there. I got the foot cam, I've got the webcam with me, I've got the standings box and the F3 box. And I've got all those things on my stream, which are great. But how can I organize everything, like literally everything, not just those things I mentioned, to where you get the most viewing of iRacing, like the majority of what you're seeing is iRacing, but you still have all that on the screen to where you have that information.
Right.
And then at the same time, I wanted to add Twitch chat because lately a lot of people have started, which is great, have started talking, while I'm racing and chatting either to themselves, well, not to themselves, but like to other people, and to themselves. Hi, Fred,
Hi.
how's it going?
I'm so lonely.
And then like they'll talk to me or something, and like when it's live, that's great. But when somebody's watching the archive like 5 days later, and I'm just randomly saying, yeah, I think it's great that they do that. They're like, well, what are you talking about? Because it's not on my screen. So I wanted to add the Twitch chat.
Hmm.
So back to my creative story. I sat down and I had some ideas, but then I kind of, and this always happens to me. I got to a point where I was kind of had a few ideas, but didn't really like them. And then I just got to this point where I was kind of just like dead. Like I didn't really know what to do, and I was anything that I thought of I didn't like, and it just wasn't working. Like I draw something, I was like, nah, I don't like that. That's not going to work. And I just when I get to that point where I can't think of anything, I just kind of quit and I kind of walk away and I don't think about it. I don't really deal with it. And then usually a few hours later or the next day even, I come back and try again, and then I get and all it takes is one idea and I'm off to the races. And then I start just getting idea after idea after idea, and that's what happened this week.
Hmm.
Um, and Andy, who is probably only listening to like parts of the show,
Only
is
every second word. So
yeah,
just
every couple
Andy,
of
Andy,
words.
Andy, 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 and make sure he hears it. So
He'll hear about three of those. um, so I sent Andy an email on Thursday, and I had drawn out some not like perfectly, but just drawn out some of the ideas, and I was like, which one of these do you like? Just to get some other, uh, I guess, input. And but most importantly from someone else, that wasn't me, somebody that might be watching or whatever. And he picked out the fourth one. Well, the neat thing about him picking out the fourth, I drew up five different things. And the neat thing about him picking the fourth one is that it was similar to the fifth one, which is the one that I liked. And I kind of liked the fourth one too. So then in my mind, when he said that, I was like, ooh, if I combine a couple of the things that I like from the fifth one and with the fourth one, then we're sitting pretty. So I did that, and I think that I've made the stream look pretty nice. And Andy seems to like it, so wait till he gets my consulting bill. Yeah, I just saw that.
yeah.
Um, and Trevor is frozen again, and he looks even grumpier now.
Well, at least I look grumpy as opposed to. I mean, I just looked happy last time.
Yeah, now you look like you want to kill me. Actually, the way that it froze, your eyes are looking. Yeah, your eyes looked like you wanted to stab me.
You get that all just from my eyeballs, man.
Well, the way that it froze.
You must have a
So,
lot of people who
anyways,
want to stab you if you have an established look for that. It's like, oh,
I'm
I know that
constantly
look.
like, oh my gosh, get away! Don't touch me! Ah.
I
So
need an adult. I need an adult.
look for one of my upcoming streams. I think you guys will like it. Hopefully you'll like it. But anyways, I'm pretty pleased, and I've still got some little bit of work to do with the Twitch channel, kind of getting it to where right now it's like I literally just created it and then left it. So it looks like one of those accounts that doesn't really exist, even though it does. That somebody created and then left, but I'm actually going to use it. So you can go and follow me over there instead of on White Knight, because eventually I will be deleting White Knight, the Twitch account.
Well, and can I say at this point in time that I'm insanely jealous that you can come up with ideas and stuff. Like when I go to do my streaming stuff, like the as creative as I get is where do I put my face, and that's as much. Like I can't think of I have no graphical uh, design type brain inside me at all. Like I cannot design web pages that look good. That's why you do our web page. Like I cannot. No, like nothing. It would be a stretch for me to come up with colors. Like even our show colors with the white, the red, and the black kind of thing. That came because somebody designed me a logo because I couldn't do it for myself. Like that, I have that none of that brain inside me. So yeah.
Well, the somebody that created the logo that's on everybody's stream is sitting right here. talking to you.
The icon is talking. What? Wait, what? Oh,
You didn't.
okay.
No.
I lost the thread. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Hi, I'm Trevor. How's it going?
And I'm Chad. I think you guys will. If Trevor looked at his email, then he should know what it looks like.
Well, I do. Although there's something to do with like because I wasn't included and stuff, so I actually tried to follow the that email, and it ended up being like it was like half a conversation, and then it would zip back to the future, and then it was over here and whatnot. So I just kind of stopped trying to read it and just looked at the pretty pictures because I couldn't make sense of what you guys were saying because I came in halfway through and it was all in the wrong direction and everything. So I looked at the pictures and they look great.
But I have a new splash screen as well, which I personally like. So you'll see it eventually. I do plan on streaming this week. I still got to get in my V8 road race. I'm giving my experiences away. I got to get in my all of my road races, which, by the way, this is something else I'll quickly throw in there. The Corvette series gets like zero participation. So I'm gonna try to race those races when I happen to be on, and if they might be going official. But otherwise, I'm not going to commit to it just because of the fact that I don't think it's ever going to go official when I'm on.
Yeah, and that kind of. I mean, we don't even have a separate section for our experiences really in here this week, but our experiences are kind of lackluster.
I haven't gotten to mine yet. I've been doing my streaming stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And I was telling Chad beforehand. I actually jumped in, did some practicing in the Silver Crown. Yeah, yeah, it was the Silver Crown. I sprint car, Silver Crown. I get them mixed up. And did some practicing and stuff like that. And a couple times jumped on with the intention of getting a race in, and nobody races that car still. Like nobody. Like there was literally zero. Like it was like 10 minutes before the race was going on. I jumped on to see if anybody was even thinking about it. Nobody practicing, nobody qualifying, nobody time trialing, nobody registered for the race. A whole lot of nothing. So
Like a ghost town, man.
so I might not be doing
Tumbleweeds.
that. Might be not doing that as my goal. I was kind of hoping, and I raced it around there at Chicagoland, and it was weird. It
Fun.
reminded me a lot of the IndyCar, the way that it handled. Like it was fast, and you really didn't have to get off the throttle. The only time you had to get off the throttle, it wasn't because you were entering the corners too fast. It was because I used the throttle a little bit to just keep the car underneath me. Like it felt like the thing wanted to fly away the whole time. Like it was easy to keep it stable. Like it wasn't, undrivable, but it really wanted to just go away from whatever I was trying to do. So I kind of played with the throttle a little bit in order to keep it going, in the direction I wanted to. But other than that, you're just flat out. And,
Yeah.
and it was, I can't remember where it topped out, but it was, at least in the 180 mile an hour. Like, and I'm thinking, it's like, you look at the outside of that car, it looks kind of like a souped up go-kart. And I'm doing like the speed that the, almost the speed that the Cup guys do in their, their complete and totally enclosed safe car type thing. It's like, man, like this takes some bravery to race these things in this condition. If it was
Yeah,
real,
it does.
obviously. But
Yeah.
so,
But anyways, I've decided to run the Skip Barber car full time because those races happen like every hour, and I haven't seen one yet this week that hasn't gone official. I'm sure that there has been some that haven't gone official, but I just haven't seen them.
hmm.
Um, wow, now that face, that's pretty hilarious.
Did
That
I
is just
freeze
frozen.
again?
You like but yeah.
Did you just smell the fart face? What?
That's kind of what you looked like. So I'm gonna run the Skip Barber, and I'm gonna run the V8 car. But like I said, I haven't done those races yet, but I'm gonna do them this weekend. I don't work for the rest of 2014, and the first few days of 2015. So I've got a lot of time this weekend and Monday to get my races in for week one, and then of course week two, and even week three. So we'll be doing a lot of racing there. The Power Series is at Texas on Sunday, so I might race that and obviously stream it. I wouldn't archive it, but just stream it to kind of get my channel out there for you guys to, get it bookmarked, I
Hmm.
guess. So, but I'm gonna stream eventually. I just don't know when yet. But it'll be sometime this weekend. So look on my Twitter if you follow me there, or just follow that channel if you haven't already, and there you go.
Cool. So, heading back to over there. We haven't actually got to the part where we're discussing the streaming part. We just discussed how the
No.
changes that we made, or that you made.
Yeah, but that was kind of a lead in because, and the reason why I said all that I did is because that is what is leading into our discussion about streaming. And basically, what we want to do is talk about this. I don't want to call it sides, but I'm going to use that word. The sides to the different styles of streams, and basically, some people stream just and they're kind of the serious racer. They take iRacing in a serious way, but they just stream it, so that other people can watch. And then some people stream because they just like to be interactive with people and have a conversation and talk to different people through chat and stuff. So I guess basically we just wanted to discuss each side because Trevor and I are actually on two different sides when it comes to this.
We're very different when it comes to our streams. If you guys have watched, if when you watch my streams, mine are more along the lines of, I'm very, I feel compelled to talk constantly, and I want to converse. I'm not there to be the great racer and show you how you should be racing. I'm out there to show you, hey, look at me. I'm racing. I'm having fun. Let's have a conversation about, and Chad is different because Chad's a much better racer than me. And, we joke and stuff, but I mean, like, that's where we come. We come from two different sides of the spectrum when it comes to racing. And that's kind of the reason why, when this all started off, that's why I wanted Chad to be the second half of this show, was because I knew we came at iRacing from very different perspectives. And, a conversation with two people who share the same ideas about everything is a boring conversation. You're not adding anything new to each other's sides of, whatever you're talking about. So, that was one of the main reasons why I brought Chad on. So, when you go and have your streams, I mean, and I've watched them, they're, they're not as, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of dead air. There's a lot of time when you are concentrating because you're racing, because you are concentrating on exactly what you're doing, and people are going to pick up and learn from watching you race. They're not going to learn much from watching me race. They might be entertained. Are you not entertained? But they're not going to, you know, become a better racer by watching me and my streams, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that all honesty, I think both ways is great. Like especially with iRacing. Other games, I don't know if it would matter or not, but with iRacing, I think it's great that there are some people out there who stream and they take it kind of seriously. Like I've watched some of Will Damage's videos, and to me, at least, I mean he's not like this most serious up on the wheel, driving. But I don't know why I made that sound
is,
effect.
is is that what you? I mean, I've watched and I don't. Me caveman, me
You
drive.
gotta make that sound effect to get that extra half second of speed.
Wall,
Um,
crash.
but like he takes it serious because he is involved into the race, but he just happens to stream, and that's kind of the way that I am,
Right.
and I think that's good for people to watch that. But at the same time, there are people, and I think it's a personality thing. There are different streams that I've watched where like you start watching their stream and like everybody that joins their stream, if they say hey, and then fill in the blank, whatever the name is. So like in this case, hey Redfest Productions, how's it going, man? What's up, man? Thanks for watching. Welcome to the stream. And like their personality is kind of like bubbly, and they're interactive with their audience, and they almost kind of make you feel a part of what they're doing
Hmm.
by the way that they talk and stuff. And I think that's great. But like for me, there are different videos that you guys can watch where I've almost said absolutely nothing in some of them, except for just race chatter. And then the video at Auto Club that I just did like 2 weeks ago, I guess now, I was pretty chatty. Guys were talking in the chat. I was answering their questions. I was talking about stuff. But there were still points in that race where I was focused on what I was doing.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to be kind of both, more lopsided towards the serious focused guy, but I'm still trying to have that interactive style, I guess. And I think it's good for both of those worlds to be there. But I got to be honest, I don't know how you talk as much as you do
What?
when you're racing.
Have you seen me race?
Well, yeah, but I just, like, to me, if I talk the amount that you talk, I would crash all over the racetrack. Like, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily spin out, but I would just be missing my marks and not, totally doing exactly what I need to do. And I try to limit myself when I do talk to the straightaways because then it's easy because I'm just driving in a straight line. If it's a oval,
Hmm.
road courses, it's a little bit more tricky. But um, yeah, I've watched your streams and it's kind of funny. Like, I just sit there and I'm like, Trevor, shut up, drive.
See, that's the thing. Like when I jump on and stream, like I said, to me, it's more important that I provide because I mean, not just because I know they're not going to get something meaningful out of my racing per se. Like I feel the need to entertain, and it's no secret. I mean, with all the podcasting and everything I do, I love talking. I mean, that's we joke about it, but that's true. I mean, I love sitting down in front of a microphone and conversing, talking, entertaining. I love it. So if I'm going to be in front of a microphone, whether I'm racing, whether I'm playing one of my other games, I mean, I stream other video games, and you're dying, but do you need to take a knee, man? Like the like I find it more interesting to talk, and part of that is also because that's what I enjoy watching. I mean, when I go out and I watch a ton of video game related content, as a form of entertainment for myself, and that's what I enjoy. I don't like watching people who are playing whatever the video game may be and just playing it. I mean, that's why, and I've talked about it a bunch of times in the past, why I prefer to get almost all my video game content through Giant Bomb. Because when they do their videos, they are doing them to entertain, almost entertain more than inform. And I kind of model my, the way I do things after that because that's what I enjoy. So, that's why it is. I like talking, and it's what I want to see. So you do what you want to see, kind of thing.
But see, and that's kind of the point I was making. There are certain people that have the personality to do that, and like you're good at entertaining, even if it's just in a talking way.
Hmm.
And that's why, I mean, like I said, there's times where I just want to smack you in the face and tell you to just drive, quit talking. But at the same time, your streams I think are more interesting because of your talking. And that's why, like with my streams, whenever we have, like we're doing a team thing, like when you and I did that race in Texas and the two of us, we're conversing on Twitter.
Right.
To me, and maybe not to everybody, but to me,
Wait,
and I've had a
we were
couple.
conversing on Twitter while we were doing it. Man, how were we even racing?
By the way, I cannot believe I forgot to say this. Timmy Hill, and I don't know if it was actually Timmy Hill or if it was somebody that is like his PR man or whatever. But when Timmy Hill was dominating that Iowa race the other day, he actually tweeted with like 20 laps to go and was like trash talking somebody, like saying something like, you're not going to catch me. I got this in the bag or whatever. I wanted to mention that because I just thought it was so funny because PSR TV had the little pop-up thing in the bottom right corner saying that, with showing different people's tweets using
Hmm.
that hashtag that they had. And his popped up and there was still like 15 to go. And I was like, what? Is he tweeting while he's driving?
Following
So
the
that was
Brad Keselowski school of
yeah.
tweeting.
So I thought that was hilarious, and I'm glad you mentioned that, and I'm glad that I messed up my wording because I forgot to say that. But no, we were on TeamSpeak, is what
Yes.
I meant to say. And like that, to me, I think it makes a stream more interesting. Like the very first stream that I ever did was that Indianapolis 300 stream, and you and Andy and Lewis were all, talking and well, not preferably, but mostly Andy was talking because he was kind of being my crew chief. And like that stream to me was cool because it had interaction.
Hmm.
Even it wasn't necessarily with people watching. It was just there was more to do, and with that stream instead of just watching the person go around in circles, you could listen to the team stuff. And to me, I think that's great, and that's why I like it whenever we, not just you and I, but anybody that I race with, get on and we're on in the same team speak and we're talking because I think it adds to the stream. So yeah, I'm done now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, you know, and but I mean, on the other side of it, I mean, there's a lot of value in the non-entertaining one, like non-entertaining. That's not the right word. The more serious streaming. I mean, because I'll go out and I'll find videos if I'm actually looking for, what line should I be racing at a certain track. I'll go
Mhm.
and try to find that style of streamer, so that style of person who's created that video, because that's what I'm looking for at that time. So I mean, like you said, there's no right or wrong. It's whatever you're really looking for. Because I mean, if I was, let's say, if I was somebody who said, okay, I'm going to be doing Watkins Glen and the Skippy, I want to learn what the gears are, what for each corner, where my braking points are, and stuff like that. And I stumbled upon a stream that I made. I haven't done one, but like if I stream, stumbled on one of my own streams of how I present myself, I would turn that off and I would look for something different, because that's not what I'm trying to get out of that moment. It's like, man, no, just shut up and wow, never mind. You don't know what the braking points are because you're in a different gear each time you hit that corner. But you know, so it's like I said, it's one of those things where that's what's so great about the way like the world we live in now when it comes to video games. And it's no secret I'm a huge video game aficionado, I guess, which is a kind way of saying geek. But it's just, in this world, there's just so many ways to consume content when it comes to, what is essentially my hobby. My relaxation time. It's my downtime is anything to do with video games, and iRacing is a part of that. Not that it's video games, it's simulation. I understand that, but it's I love that we live in this time where people can just jump on their computer and without much effort at all, really, just show the world what they're doing. Hey, I'm playing a video game. Want to watch? Kind of thing.
Hey, I'm sitting here talking to a mic that's 2 feet above my head while looking at a person that freezes every 3 seconds. It's
What?
great.
Why am I freezing to you? If our stream is good, you're perfectly clear. Like everything's working great except for apparently, and my voice isn't even cutting out for you. Just my face.
No, actually, your voice sounds like you're in a tunnel right now.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, it must
Yeah,
be your internet because you sound. Well, then again, you sound perfectly good to me. I don't know.
my internet is just fine, man.
I'm just gonna occasionally just make weird faces in case I happen to freeze on that particular one. Yeah.
But to kind of go along with your point there are times where I've done the same thing where I want to watch somebody, that I think is a really good driver and kind of pick up on what they're doing. And like if I go to certain, whether it's a live stream or if it's a recorded archive that I'm just checking out, it there are certain people that I won't watch because you can kind of tell that they're not really taking it totally serious. They're just kind of
Mhm.
goofing off. They're kind of just going around the racetrack. But then there are other people who you want to watch because it's like they are really trying hard to get the fastest lap time that they can. And you can tell pretty much right away
Yep.
the difference, if they're going to be serious or not. So Um, yeah, I like you were kind of saying. It's great that we kind of live in that world right now. I think it's great that we have the two different sides. Where people kind of get on, they goof off, and they have their video, but at the same time, there are people that stream their races because they're in a serious environment, but they still want to stream it.
Hmm.
So I like that. I think it's cool. And I also think it's cool that iRacing on Twitch now has their logo appear when you search iRacing.
Oh,
And it's not just a purple question mark or whatever it was.
cool. I was not
So I
aware
think
of
that
that.
means that, iRacing is becoming very popular on Twitch.
Well, I mean, and realistically, when it comes to simulation racing, I mean, there's only a few real, cats in the game, so to speak. I mean, there's only, there's not that many simulation software, simulation racing software out there because it's, I'm not going to start mentioning names, but I mean, if you're not going to go want to watch a race of Forza or Gran Turismo or one of those if you're going to try to watch some quote unquote serious racing. That's not what you're going for. There you're probably going to watch people crash and smash and laugh and have a good time. you know.
Whee!
So
I'm driving backwards.
look at me, I'm ruining everybody's day. Wee-haw!
Yeah. But
But
I kind of treat my streams very similar to the way that I treat my driving on iRacing, which is a level of seriousness, but not overly serious. And that's why I've kind of taken the time to create the new layout and even the previous layouts, but the new layout in particular. And it's because I'm always trying to improve my cockpit to where it's more efficient or it's easier for me to sit in the chair or easier for me to hit the pedals or do certain buttons and like I'm always trying to be I guess I don't know if proactive is the right word, but in just trying to make things easier for me or look better or more efficient, and that's kind of what I'm doing with the stream,
mm-hmm.
trying to make things easier, better, more efficient. And I think what I've done now is, at least I think, probably my best work with the stream to this point. So hopefully it's going to work well as I start actually streaming races.
So, of course, everybody, as we mentioned, make sure that you go out and find Chad's new identity out there if you want his new content. I'm I'm still gonna be where I was because I already have my brand, Ratface Productions. That's me. Come watch me
See
play
on
games.
Twitter you're at iRacing Today.
I know. Technically, actually, but the words say Ratface Productions. I know it's not the
Yeah,
same thing, but yeah.
not the handle.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's one of those things where, I have over 700 people following me. I'm not going to just start a new Twitter handle because that's just dumb. I think I could change. I don't know. I'm going to keep
On
it the way it
Twitter,
is.
the neat thing about Twitter is you can change your handle name and it doesn't do anything except change your name. So like if you wanted to become at Ratface Productions, you just go in there and change it and you're done.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Don't
Yeah.
lose your followers, don't lose the people that you are following. The only thing that they do is they tell you, they suggest, you don't even have to do this, but they suggest that you announce that you've changed it
Right.
so that, people, so that people will know that you've changed it. So like, if they go to type in at iRacing Today and you don't show up, they're like, oh, where did you go? They know that they have to type in Ratface.
Right. And it was not a humble brag, Andy. I'm just indicating that I have a lot more Twitter followers than Chad. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I remember when I was begging to get up to 500. Now I'm over 700. I mean, I'm just saying, Chad's at like, I don't know, a dozen, something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not judging.
250,
I'm not judging. Yeah.
only 500 behind you. Come on, 500 people, I need you.
I also, I also have like,
Hashtag 77 strong.
I have like half a dozen freaking Twitter accounts, that I have for various projects and whatnot. I don't use any of them. See, iRacing Today just became my main one, and I don't even talk on the other ones anymore.
Yeah. I remember when one of yours got hacked.
Yes.
You started telling me to like work out and get in shape and start dieting. And I was like,
Dr.
whoa,
Oz
whoa,
says you should
whoa,
do
whoa,
this.
whoa.
Dr. Oz, why are you hacking Twitter accounts? My goodness. You're better than that, aren't you? Well,
I don't know if he is. So funny.
marginally.
Speaking of Twitter, we have such great segues. Funny story time with Trevor and Chad.
Oh, we still got that to go, man.
Yeah.
All
But we
right.
can go somewhat shortly. So this week, I lost my job
So
on
to
the show.
speak.
Yeah, so to speak, in fake land. Um, okay, so basically, I'm pretty sure that Trevor just casually said that he was thinking about working on a new project and that it was not going to involve me, which turned into 150 notifications of craziness.
Of various people, mostly Andy, and then that just snowballed from there. Various people, indicating. I mean, people are tweeting, so sorry to see Chad go. He had a good run. I mean, I'm in there doing damage control. Like I said, it was like I was in the back of the boat bailing out the water because while I wanted to have fun with it, I take this show very seriously, and I didn't want anybody to get any wrong ideas what was going on. And then every time I tried to fix something, Andy would jump in there and pile something else on, and I'm just having these horror stories going on in the back of my mind that somebody's just going to look at this Twitter feed and figure the show's just self-destructed. Me and Chad got into a fist fight in the back, back office or something, and now we hate each other.
Yep. So the first tweet that Andy responded with was, "Not Chad." And then he said, "Is Shalak is leaving iRacing today? What?" And then he put a hashtag rumor starter. And after that, it was pretty much on. He then goes on to say, like you were saying, we're going to miss Chad. Then he says, I had a good run on the show. He wishes me luck in my future endeavors. And then this is where other people started to come in. Jason was like, too bad about Chad. He will be missed.
Yeah, see that right when that happened, that was right around when I started panicking, because there was no, there was no preamble there. There was no, obviously, he was doing it for humor, but at that point in time, I'm thinking, this has gone too far, because now all of a sudden, because there was nothing to indicate that he was in on the joke in that tweet, and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah. Which in the next post, Trevor says, "For the love of Pete, would you guys stop it? Now I have to get our PR department to damage control." To which I responded, "Don't bring Pete into this."
I know.
So Pete became like our guy that's gonna die on the season finale. 'Cause last year I think we had Joe or John or somebody.
Wait, yeah, did we kill the cat, or did we? Because remember, I
No.
had a cat that hung around the garage.
Yeah, Finnegy the cat. And you were gonna tell us whatever happened to him one day, and I don't know if you did or not.
He was, yeah, and if long-time listeners, Finnegan was actually our neighbor's, his son's girlfriend's cat, who's who Finnegan was. So
Twice removed cousin.
yeah, it
Moving
was.
on of somebody or another.
So they broke up. She moved out, so Finnegan's gone.
Oh, poor cat.
Well, he's probably on to I was gonna say a better place, but he didn't die. Well, he may have. I don't know, but
Yeah.
but yeah,
now
no,
my-
yeah, there was a janitor or something that we killed last season. Was I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was. It was a janitor on the show last year. Yeah, he's gone. Now Pete's the one that's going to die tonight. So I liked your tweet here because you said, so Pete becomes our fictional PR person to clean up the pretend mess that Andy made and then dies. Seems fair. And then the next tweet on my list is Andy Small. List your favorite episodes of iRacing Today where Chad, at Ishchalak, was in. Mine, all of them. Hope you start your own podcast.
Well, I missed that one.
Yeah, well, he just sent that one to me. He didn't include anybody else. Oh, man. And then more and more people started coming in. Somebody, let's see, Jeff McPherson says, slow day, wink face, question marks. Then Andy's saying that he bets that Trevor's never going to even talk to me again.
Yeah.
Then suddenly Andy's replacing me on the show.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, I went from panic to, again, to it's like, saying things like, Trevor's never going to talk to Chad again. It's like, okay, here we go. Now I got to fix this. And then all of a sudden, Andy's all like, "Yeah, now I'm going to be, sorry to see Chad go. I'm going to be replacing him and all this stuff." It's like, wait, no, none of this is happening.
Then Danny Wrestler comes in. He's like, "So Andy's replacing Chad, and Trevor's starting something new. This sounds an awful lot like a soap opera." Yes, and then Trevor more with the trying to control a soap opera that Andy invented in his own brain. I think he's bored. And this just keeps going on and on and on. And then this is probably my favorite part of all of this. This is about the time where John Hensley comes into the mix. And he says, "Very sad to hear his Cadillac got the boot from the iRacing Day podcast, hashtag boycott." And then comes back and says, "As a former guest on the show, I felt like Chad really made a connection to his listeners. Big loss."
Again, and we know John. I mean, John likes to have fun as much as any of us. So we know. But then in the back of my mind, again, as much. It's funny because I'm the person, like we've talked about, where I enjoy entertaining people, and this was all done for entertainment. But I just kept going back to serious mode of, what if somebody reads that out of context? Oh crap! What are we gonna do now?
Yeah. Now, after this, Andy creates a new show called the, and I love this. I think this is hilarious. It's called the iRacing Tomorrow podcast. Oh, man. Yeah, and then this just keeps going. I mean, I was not kidding. I literally checked my Twitter because I was doing all this on my phone, and it doesn't erase the notifications on the actual Twitter web client when I'm doing it on my phone. So when I got back to the Twitter web client, I had 56 notifications. Not making that up. When it was all said and done. And then the next day, it kind of started again. I had 28 from that. Today I had like 28 from something else we were talking about. Andy, I think he keeps telling us that he's working on this project day and night. It's taking a lot of his time. He's quit iRacing for a month. I think he's making it up.
Yeah.
I think he's really bored.
I know, that's the thing. I mean, he's just sitting there, has all this time to create all this fake drama and problems. So, this, Andy says every now and again, he gets his call out every now and again on the show and whatnot. This is like the, call out Andy hour, so yeah.
Yeah. I also liked it when you and I started talking about something serious, and then I told you to check your email, but it changed it to EMAL. And so Trevor responds with, "No deal." Or actually, I saw and then corrected by saying, "or your email." And then Trevor responds, "No deal. I'm checking my email. I think it's like a llama. Wait, didn't I fire you once today?"
See, I can be fun. Yeah.
I don't know. Can you be?
And
Yes.
again, all of this started just because I was having a creative moment. See, Chad has all, like I mentioned, he has all the creative when it comes to the graphic stuff and web design and things like that. I have creative mind. Like, I constantly come up with new ideas for new podcasts and shows and audio content and that sort of thing. So it was just one of those days where I just had things going around in my head. It's like, what if I did this? Huh. Well, and then that turns into me searching for, such and such podcast and see if anybody else is doing that. It's like, oh, okay, well, not really. Okay. And then I think I have a neat angle on that idea. Okay. And now I'm at GoDaddy and I'm searching URL names and I just go through this process, so, that's my creative side. So, all I want to do is just say, hey, I'm thinking, I have some ideas in my head, stay tuned. Maybe it'll come up, maybe it'll come into something. Maybe it won't. I don't know, kind of thing. That's all I was doing.
And in that tweet, you mentioned that I would not be your co-host, and that's what triggered it.
Well, I know. And I said, that I had to, I was going to run the idea by my, potential co-host for that show and see what they thought. And, and then I just felt the need to put in brackets, not Chad, just in case there was any confusion that we were just starting up a sister podcast. That's all. I was trying to be helpful is what I was trying to do.
And you were, because I would have looked at Twitter. Oh, and speaking of that, But let me finish the story first. I would have looked at Twitter and been like, "Wait, I'm starting a new podcast. I don't even know what this is about." But when I when this all started, my phone for some reason didn't push out the notifications. So like I signed on very casually to look at Twitter, and I have a little dot that pops up underneath the mentions thing if there's a mention that I have not read.
Hmm.
So when I signed on or loaded up the app on my phone, I was like, "Ooh, I have a notification." And then the next thought in my mind was, "Well, why didn't it like alert me? Because usually it does that." So then I went and started to read it, and I read the first one, which was the one I read earlier that Andy said, and not Chad, and the rumor started, and I was like, I read all of the mentions before I ever went back and read Trevor's, what he actually said that started this. So I had like no clue why this was going on for like the first 10 minutes. I was like, why are we talking about this? And then by that time, there was already like 10 notifications. And I was like, man, whatever's going on, it's a hot topic.
It's a hot topic. I want to get in on this.
Yeah.
But
So, poor Pete, RIP, man. It was great knowing you.
yeah, we had to.
I think we should have a moment of silence for Pete.
No, I'm good. He was crappy at his job, really. I mean, he's a PR guy. I mean, we should be bigger than this. I mean, we expect
Yeah,
more from our employees, really, is what I'm
we
saying.
do. We do. They
So
should do more with their pretend paychecks.
indeed, I mean, like I said, I mean, they have at least you guys have pretend paychecks. Although the characters of the show have pretend paychecks. I have a real deficit because it costs me money to do this, and I don't even get a paycheck. So it's. That's how it goes. There's a humble brag for you. I pay money to provide this to you people. There, that's not really a brag so much, but I have 700 Twitter followers.
I was gonna say, how is that a brag again? I
But
pay money for this.
I pay good money. Well, it's not a lot of
Uh,
money. It's a little bit of money, but
so it was
anyway.
comedy gold.
So that was fun. So it's if you don't follow us on Twitter, you miss out on all these things.
Yeah, you missed out on a dandy of a week.
Or you missed out on
Biggest.
deleting our accounts and blocking them and never coming back. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. But for the record, we did not have a fight. We are still doing the show, as you
yes,
can see.
obviously, the
And here, if you're not watching.
and the my idea. I have discussed the prospect with with the co-host that I would be doing that show with, and they are on board. So during this 2-week break that I'm off from the show, I think we might record a pilot and just see how it goes, and see if the idea sounds as good in audio format as it does in my brain. Because it's one of those things where I thought about it. It's like, hey, you know what? And I know I'm being conspicuously vague, but it's because I don't know if it's coming true or not. So I figure I'll just let it hang there. But it's one of those things where in my head it sounds like the greatest idea ever. And for the record, I actually did tell Chad and Andy what it was, the idea, after we were done beating each other up over Twitter, and they thought it was a good idea too. So yeah, so we'll see. So
Take that. No, wait, here's the idea. Oh, dude, that's really cool.
and it's funny too because it's like I have started many podcasts. I'm in case you don't know, when it comes to the podcast stuff, uh, Chad does all the website stuff. He does a lot of the show notes and whatnot, and I kind of handle the.
A lot?
Okay, he does the show notes. Every now and again, I'll put in a note and say, "Oh, by the way, can we talk about this too?" And Chad's all like, "No, we're good."
No, you did put it in the exact format.
But and I do all the audio stuff in the background, and I do all the making sure the show gets put up, and the iTunes stuff and whatnot. So I'm kind of that side of the house. But it's funny, every time I start a podcast, and I've done many, I have to relearn how to do it all, because I do it, I set it up, and I completely forget how to do it. People ask me, it's like, "Oh, well, you do podcasts. How do you do all this stuff?" No idea. I
Yep.
I learned it. I did it. Boom, out of the brain.
And I can testify to that because one time I asked him how to do it so that I could tell one of my friends who was curious about it, I don't know. I'm like, well, don't you upload our show every week? Yeah, but I don't pay attention to what I do. I just click buttons and then it happens.
Well, that's the thing. I at the very beginning, I set everything up so that it's like now I know in order to do it, I have to do this, I have to do this, but all the background stuff to get to that point, not a clue. Couldn't tell you. I'll have to I'll have to relearn it all over again so I can get to the point where it's just a couple of simple button clicks to actually get it to work.
Yeah.
So,
All
but
right. So since we're gonna do, since we're kind of having one of those fun weeks, I'm gonna take a panorama
panorama,
of, yeah, panorama. I'm
like
gonna
I'm,
tweet out behind the scenes.
I was gonna say I'm aware of the term. I don't know how it relates to what we're doing now.
I'm doing a behind the scenes gig
Behind the
so that
scenes
people can
gig.
see. There we go, and I'll post that on Twitter later.
Oh, so it's like, hey, here's how everything works. Hmm. Oh, why is this happening? Oh, ladies
We're
and
we're
gentlemen, give us some slack here. It's the last show. We're just about done here.
we're having fun. We're trying to end the new year on a
I just ruined your face.
on a fun note.
I hit the wrong button.
Really,
If you're watching the
really,
stream, all of a sudden Windows Media Player is going to show up in the middle of Chad's face.
you've
So
done this once
I
before.
did. I sometimes I
You
hit
just
the
don't like me, do you?
I it's the way that I have things set up with the two monitors and the way that Skype is stupid. I need to get your face in there. I hit the wrong button. I meant to hit my but another button, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, no, and
Sure.
that
Yeah,
happened to
sure.
open. It's
Sure.
like you're gonna open. I have two monitors, all of this space. You're gonna open a Windows Media Player, and it happens to be right in the middle of Chad's face. So that's great.
It's happened twice now, people.
uh, should I take pictures too? And here's what. Oh, I just bumped the microphone. I shouldn't do that. Anyway, we should probably get out of here because I think we're just about done, are we not?
Yep.
We're gonna be gone for 2 weeks, and so you will eventually miss us or something.
So,
There's my phone.
while he takes the picture,
There's not much to see there. It's just a wow. That's really not a lot to see there. Hold on. That's a horrible picture of what's going on. There we go.
okay. But anyways, I will say my final thoughts on the year. Um, do appreciate you guys listening. I think this year we,
I look like an idiot. I just took a picture of me because I had to squeeze way back my thing. I just had the stupidest look. Like, I gotta squeeze back in my chair here, man.
um, so we, I'm just not seeing it on the screen. That does look hilarious. Um, but yes, we do appreciate you guys for listening and putting up with all of our stupid crap that we do. Um, but we do have a lot of fun doing the show. I will say that I think that our show, I don't want to say the word grow necessarily, but I think the interaction part really stepped up this year.
Oh, big time.
Oh yeah, so appreciate that because it's already fun for us to do this, but I promise you guys it makes it way more fun than it already is when you guys start interacting with this and telling us what you like, don't like, what you'd like to see, and just having fun made up rumor stories on Twitter as well. So I say all that to say that we'll see you again in 2 weeks, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's and Happy Hanukkah and whatever else they throw in at the last 2 weeks of the year.
Is Kwanzaa? Is that this time of year too, or is
I
that
don't know,
I don't know? Happy
maybe.
holidays. Whatever
Yeah.
you happen to celebrate at this time of year.
Yeah. But anyways, we hope it's a great one, and we hope that you have a lot of fun with your family and maybe get some cool gifts like for iRacing. And yeah, so hope you guys have a safe one and a fun one and a great one. And I will see you again on January the 8th. Actually, I'll see you before that because I'll be streaming. But on this show, I'll see you on January the 8th.
Yes, and I will hopefully get some streaming there as well. But and we say it all the time, but as Chad said, we really do appreciate all you guys out there, and it's it's fun because of that. And this year is just blown up. Like last year we had fun, everything was great, but this year the participation and our fan base has grown, which has been awesome. And the support and the fact that you guys go out of your way to get the word out. I mean, we know a lot of our listeners come from people going out and saying, "Hey, here's a good show, if you're into iRacing," or people are just finding iRacing and then finding us, and I think that's really cool. Is that one of the first things they find when they discover iRacing is us, and that's happened several times, and that really is cool.
Actually, just happened last week too.
Yeah, yeah. Another new user of the sim, found the sim, found us. So that really makes us feel special and cool.
And it may have happened more than once, but I know at least one time somebody actually found us, then joined iRacing.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
I mean, I know
that might have actually even be cooler.
Yeah, that means that we should get a paycheck, is what that means.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree. Looking at you, Tony Gardner.
Come on. We're popular. People love us. Pay us. Pay us. Pay us well.
Lots of money. Good night, Indianapolis.
But that, of course, will about do it for this week and this year. So, as we mentioned, a big thanks to everybody out there for listening. Are you crying? I don't know what that was.
I was fake crying.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Good luck to you, sir. Remember, the show is available for download on iTunes and Zune under the podcast sections, where we would really appreciate a review if you don't mind and haven't done so already to help us get the word out. The show is also available on YouTube and Twitch at Ratface Productions and mirrored over on Chad's new channel entitled It's Chadillac. Sounds like a sitcom. Who's there coming down the door? It's Chadillac.
Superhero.
You can check out the website for information, archives, links, and the polls we mentioned on the show. We won't be talking to you again until this poll has closed, and we'll have a new one up. So make sure you head over there in the next couple of weeks and vote there if you haven't done so already. Chad, I already know what Chad's answer is, and it's weird. So we'll talk about that in the new year. It's one of those.
You're weird.
It's one of those things where you put that answer on there as one of the choices and you are going to be the only one who picks it. I know.
Nope. Other people have picked it.
You're kidding me. Wow.
Not kidding.
We will talk about that on January the 8th.
Yes, my home dogs.
And those polls, of course, are over at our website, which is iRacingTodayRadio.com, which is created and maintained by Mr. Chad. So thank you for doing that over this year, Chad, because it would look horrible if I was in charge of that. You can like the show on Facebook by searching for the iRacing Today Radio Show over on the Facing Book, which Chad maintains that as well because I hate Facebook. So do I. And don't understand anything about how any of that works. So we wouldn't have a Facebook page if it wasn't for Chad either.
It's dumb.
You can follow us on Twitter, iRacing Today for myself, and I do that myself. Like Chad doesn't maintain my Twitter account for me. I actually do that all by myself. Old man can learn technology, and of course at It's Chadillac for Mr. Chad.
Now please email any questions, comments, poll suggestions that you might have to feedback at iRacingTodayRadio.com. We're going to need a whole bunch of more poll suggestions for the new year, so start thinking. And of course, feel free to add me and Trevor as friends on the iRacing.com members website, as a lot of you already have. We haven't reached the limit, though, so where are the rest of you?
Did we determine there was a limit? I know we discussed
yes.
There is something.
Yes, we did. I don't remember the number, maybe 250, something like that, I don't know. But anyways, if you're not on iRacing and you're going to join, especially for Christmas, please refer either Trevor or myself in the referral box when you sign up by entering Trevor's email, which is ratface@gmail.com, or mine, which is iRacingLegend@gmail.com.
And side note here, we mentioned all the fun times we had, with all over the Twitter and stuff like that. And if you want to follow Mr. Andy Small, our sidekick, then he's over there at Andy_Small if you want to follow him on Twitter to listen to his nonsense. He's like a pet. Yeah, that's it. Andy's our pet.
Okay, there, little Andy. But on that weird and random note, um, until January the 8th, 2015. Don't worry, it's only 2 weeks away. Or so.
It's actually, technically, it's only 13 days, so I mean, it's not even 2 weeks because we recorded
Yeah.
this a day late.
Or if you want to look at it this way, it's a whole year away. But, ladies and gentlemen, remember that the race is never won in the first turn.
But it is often lost there, and we're sorry. We love you, Andy. Good night, everybody.